Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the Road to the Great Canadian Open, Winter 26. This is my video series as I paint up my Brotherhood Without Banners army 1 hour a day, 1 day at a time, to show people what can be done if you work consistently on your projects a little bit every day. And I'm happy to report that we're done painting the archers and we are now working on their bases. Now, based on the peasants, it was a 2 hour project to fully get the bases done. It took about an hour to apply the dirt and then another hour to dry brush, rim the bases, and apply grass. But I'm at a point in the project where I'm so close to being done, I don't mind putting in 2 hours to get everything finished. So I suspect today will be a 2 hour session. Let's take a look where we're at and where we're going. So this is where we're at right now. The models have been all fully base coated and they've had the brown oil wash been applied and then wiped off with the makeup sponge. As I mentioned last episode, I really like this new technique that I looked up where you let the oil dry for about an hour and then wipe it off with the makeup sponge. You get much more of a gradient with the brown, so it just looks a little more subtle. And I didn't show Tom 7 strings, but Tom is in the same boat as well. Give me a second to grab Tom here. We can maybe zoom in on him a little closer. But here's Tom. So he's also done with the brown wash as well. So again, folks, this is just Slapchop with a brown wash. I think it looks pretty cool. So that's all done. So we're going to be basing all 13 models, and that'll be the goal for the day, as you stare at my wall. So 1 hour of work, well, 2 hours of work, let's be real, starts now. 1 hour and about 5 minutes later, we are done applying the Dark Earth textured base from AK onto the models. So yeah, just slopped it on. I had to add a little bit of water because mine was still a bit wet. And just kind of cleaned up any areas that were overflowing with my finger and on the inside as well. We're going to wait for about an hour and then we're going to dry brush them with Rack Art Flesh, rim the bases, apply the tufts, and we'll have another tray done. Alright, so we'll be back after we dry brush and base. And we are completely done the tray. So as expected, it took about 2 hours worth of work. The first hour and change was to put on the Dark Earth when I was wet. After it dried for about an hour and a half or so, I went back and dry brushed the top with Rack Art Flesh, and then I rimmed the bases and the tray twice with Mornfang Brown, and then I put on a Winter Tough Grass from AK to finish it off. So 2 trays down, let's take a look at the army. So this is everything that's fully painted so far. We've got the peasants, we've got the archers, and we've got Tom 7 strings. So this is the beginning, but more will be to come. Some final thoughts coming up.
So here are my final thoughts for today's session. Is I'm done the archers, and what am I going to paint next? So I'm thinking that I'm going to be painting the Sorn Knights next. Originally, I had thought about painting everything from the starter set. So the second unit of peasants, the second man-at-arms. I had made some lists, and a couple of things. One, the demand of putting up an episode every day is tough, which means that I kind of want to get this project done as soon as possible. I do want to keep posting every day if I can. I mean, the motto is 1 hour a day, 1 day at a time. But it means that I want to then focus on what I'm actually going to use at the tournament. Now, that may change as I play more, and it's already changed. Originally, I had planned to take Barrack and Cat as my commanders, and then 4 games in, I'm already looking at making some pretty drastic changes. Now, my Barrack list, I think I'm pretty happy with. You've already seen it. Barrack in Kingsmen, just for a hard-hitting hammer, takes advantage of the assault orders very well. And Golden Company Crossman with Hot Pie for the double sentinel, archers with Angui. The Swift Retreat is actually pretty good. The more I think about it, Angui, even though I'm not really using the outflank ability, the ability to Swift Retreat, even though it overlaps with Sentinel, means that you should roll high enough even on a 1 such that at the start of the enemy turn, you can use your Deceitful Reposition order to move another 3. So that's pretty cool. And then the Sword Knights or the Fortune Seeker, I think, are great. So in other words, if I paint the Sword Knights, I've painted the Archers and the Sword Knights. I only have to paint the neutral and Baratheon units from that list. The second list I had is Cat, and 4 games in, I have yet to find a reason to want to use my Cat list. It just doesn't seem particularly great. And the weakness, honestly, is the Peasants. Originally, I thought the Peasants are what make the list awesome because you get to take better units. But when I looked at my matchups that I played so far, I have not wanted to use that list. And against the Targaryens and against the Martells in particular, it made me think, dragons and playing against even Starks with wolves or playing against Cav. Having Caitlyn or Lady Stoneheart as an NCU might be way more powerful. Sorry, will be way more powerful. So I want her as an NCU, which means I'm going to have to run Thoros as my commander. And that led me down this really crazy, wow, I'm using units I never thought I would. So here is my thought process on how I would build my Thoros list and how I might adjust it. So I've already taken it. And so Thoros commander, I'm not sure what unit to put him in yet, right? So I'm going to leave that empty for now. But I do know I want 1 unit of peasants. I'll probably put Edric Dane for extra heals. I want 1 unit of archers with Hot Pie. I want 1 unit of Sword Knights with a Fortune Seeker. And I'm going to have to click this button to make that Fortune Seeker free. And then for my NCUs, I've going to take Caitlyn, that's for sure. I really, really enjoyed Varys. I think Varys adds a lot of great versatility. And then for my third NCU, I'm not really sure between Ghost of Highheart and Ravella. Because I have a little less healing because Thoros is my commander, I'm going to lean towards Ravella for now. And now I've got 10 points left over, which means I can buy 2 5-point units. So in the list I used against Jay, I had taken the Lysine Pirates. Well, okay, let me rewind. I had to think about a command bunker for Thoros. Now, originally I said I'm going to take 2 5-point units for a little more power. No 4-point peasants, right? So I looked at his rules. He gives unit Sundering and Vicious. So I don't want to take any 5-point units that already have Sundering and Vicious. I want an aggressive unit, so I don't want anything like Wardens. So I think taking Starkthorn Swords is a good option. This is a more aggressive unit. It has crit blow. That's kind of cool. I don't want to take Loyalists because they already have Vicious built in. It kind of wastes one of his abilities. So I'm feeling Starkthorn Swords because they're more aggressive. They have the crit blow. Other 5-point units could be, really the other choice. I don't want Wardens because they're too slow. Sentinels already have Sundering. So I actually landed on the Highguard and Pikemen, which kind of shocked me because I rated them as the worst 5-point unit to take. But it actually makes sense in Thoros, right? Because what I said made them bad was they need movement tricks to benefit the coordinated assault. Well, Thoros has an auto 6 charge card, so that's actually very good in that unit. And the healing adds up. The faction is already super annoying for all the heals. So having extra healing for Perseverance and Valor is also good. So with Thoros, it's 7 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling, plus 3 hits. So, 3/4 of 7 is 4 to 5 hits, plus 3 is 8 hits with Sundering and Vicious. That's no joke at all. That hits pretty darn hard. And Thoros makes some morale 4, so they're quite durable. For 5 points, this unit was pretty solid in that one game. And that leaves me 5 points left over. And because of the nature of Brotherhood, you have to go neutrals, and you can't take any Bolton units, so you can't take Cutthroat and stuff. So these were the 3 units available. Now, my gut said I should not take Stormcore Mercenaries because they give you an extra discount. I feel like I'm not leveraging that rule. I'm taking Gendry, by the way, is my third or my last 2 attachment points. So I was like, I'll take the Licensed Sellswords, and they're kind of squishy. But if I put in Gendry, so this now maximizes all my points. If I take Gendry, his resilience order, and maybe even improved defenses. I never got that rule, mind you, but the resilience order might keep them alive. And honestly, it did keep them alive longer than it should, but they still kind of went down, and they did swing once or twice in combat, and they didn't do that much. I took off one rank at one point and got one pillage token, but I never got the dream of, two pillage tokens swinging with 8 dice. Now, I have to say, I think I made a mistake. No. I think I attacked twice. First attack did not take off a rank. The second attack did, and then I died. So I didn't love this unit, and it made me go, okay, if that unit's no good, what other 5-point unit do I take? I only have Stormcrow Mercenaries and Stonecrows. And my gut says no to Stonecrows for the same reason, because you don't get to use one of their rules. Maybe I should just get over that. Looking at their defensive profile, Armor 4 is better than Lycene Pirates. It's the same morale. They also have extra healing built in. So that is kind of cool, right? Now, their attack isn't so good. 6 stacks on 4 is not too fancy. So, this is an option. And then I went back and looked at the Stormcrow Mercenaries, and I'm like, you know what? This might be the winner. Honestly, this might be the winner, because they're actually the tankiest unit from the neutral section for 5 points. 4+ morale, 4+ armor, 6+ morale is way tankier than Lycene Pirates. And their attack profile is actually not terrible because they have 7 attacks, right? And if Motivated by Coin kicks off, because your opponent doesn't control the bag, they actually might get rerolls. And they might heal. So it actually makes more and more sense that this is the unit that I want to take with Gendry. Even though I'm wasting 1 point on attachments, I actually think this makes the most sense. Now, I think this is going to be the next iteration of Thoros. Thoros 1.1, as you can see here. So Thoros 1.1. Now, what this means for painting is that, yes, I'm going to paint the Knights next, because the Knights are in both my lists. 1.1. Oopsies, version 1.1. And after that, I'm probably going to paint up my Beric Dondarrion list. So I'll paint the Kingsmen. I'll paint the Golden Company Crossbows. This list, unfortunately, here is... Did I say this yet? I did not. This list is the one that's going to be the most flexible. I was talking to my buddy Rickson, and he was giving me some ideas as well. So let's refresh this, and let's talk about another variation of a Thoros list. So it's going to start out the same way. So Thoros, I'm going to take the same bunch of units as a core. So Edric Dane, I'll take the archers. We were having a debate about whether or not you should take Sorn Knights over Tully Cav. I'm going to stick with the Sorn Knights for now. I should stick with the Tully Cav, to be honest with you, but I do like them. And then I'll take the same NCUs, Ravella and Varys, right? And then his suggestion was put Thoros in Lycene Pirates. And I just said I don't like this unit. But Thoros does get around a lot of their weaknesses. He gives them extra morale. And here we go. And they have crit blow built in. If you spend a Thoros Faith token, they'll have crit blow, Sunring, and Vicious. That's pretty good odds now to knock off a rank and start gathering up that pillage tokens. So if you put Lycene Pirates there, I have... Oops, I forgot to click the button. Free attachment. I got 5 points left for my Gendry unit, and I can now take one of my Stark or Baratheon units here. So for 5 points, what do I want to take? This is going to be a tanky unit. I feel like Wardens are an option, though they're kind of slow. Now, if this is going to be a... you know what? Even Sword Swords are not bad here, I think. Sword Swords are tanky enough, and then you throw in the Resilience, and I think you're looking pretty good. So this might be an option as well. So I'm going to put this as Thoros 1.2. And I think this is also a legitimate list to try out at the game shop. So what makes it better than Cat Commander is that you have a more dynamic commander who's auto 6 charge, and you've got Cat herself, who will be knocking off wounds and creating pressure as a result too. So it only uses 1 Peasants, which means I'm unlikely to paint that second unit of Peasants, and I'm unlikely to use that Men-at-Arms. None of my lists use Men-at-Arms. Now, another option could be to take off the Licensed Sellswords, take off the Stark Sword Swords, and I could take a second unit of Peasants. And then to make this unit harder to kill, I guess you can put in Gendry again, because he does have resilience. And then it gives you a 6-point unit for your command bunker. And that could be Brotherhood Man-at-Arms. Or that could be, I was thinking to myself, Berserkers. Berserkers have a lot of attacks. They hit on 3s. Adding that Stunning and Vicious gives them extra little bit of bite. So that can be pretty spicy. She-Bears are not a terrible option either, to be honest with you, because they have natural crit blows. That could be a good choice. So this is another interesting option. The only problem is you only have 3 teeth, as I call it. You'd have the command bunker, the archers, and the knights, and you've got 2 peasants who aren't really doing much. And that could be a mistake on my part too. Maybe I should be pushing forward and being more aggressive with them. But anyway, that's where my state is right now for building my second list. I'm really enjoying the Thoros combinations, and we'll see what I end up doing. So anyway, that changes my paint schedule a little bit. I'm going to finish my barrack list first, keep on playing with both lists, and see where I land. All right, folks, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found it interesting, and again, hopefully the series is helping you paint. Hopefully you have been inspired to put some paint on your models. Again, if you can scrape off 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, something, and just grind it every day, you'll see progress as well. It takes time. Keep the faith. Have a good day, folks. See you next time. Bye-bye.